This is the story of Shemar Stewart. He's the defensive end that came out of Texas A&M and was drafted in the first round by the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. Now, it's normally unremarkable. A first-round pick in today's NFL is already slotted in to have a certain amount of money allocated to them, and it's all guaranteed. So this was a no-brainer. It was going to be an easy thing, except the Cincinnati Bengals decided that they were going to put some contract language in his contract that said, basically, for any reason that they determine that he's a bad citizen or that he gets into some kind of trouble, that they can withhold money from him. And he's like, I'm not signing that. No other rookie has ever had to sign anything like that. And they're holding fast. They want to make sure that they get their money back if something happens and he turns out to not be what they expect. So Shemar is like, well, I might just hold out and not play this year and re-enter the draft next year, which is something you can do. And you may remember, if you're old enough, that there are a couple of players who've done this in the past. A couple were not so notable, but the biggest one was Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson in 1986, I believe it was, came out and was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but held out because he didn't want to play for them. So he re-entered the draft the following year and was drafted by the Oakland Raiders. Now the difference was he moved from a first-round pick to a seventh-round pick, so he lost some money. But in the meantime, he kept himself busy by playing baseball and then continued to play baseball in both sports while he was playing in the NFL. So there is some precedent to this in some way. Now in Shemar's case, there's a little bit of an unusual backstory here. Shemar has money to fall back on. Shemar is doing pretty well for himself. And the reason for that is because of the NIL, the name, image, and likeness deal that players have. They have an ability to make money while they're in college. And the story goes that he was a pretty good athlete, an exceptional athlete maybe, here in South Florida. And the University of Miami was putting on a hard push to get him to go there. And he wanted to go to UM. He grew up in South Florida, so he was ready to go there. But he wanted to see what kind of money might be offered elsewhere. And he took a visit to several schools, and famously he went to LSU. And LSU misspelled his name on one of the handouts that they gave around to people. He saw that, was offended by it, and just left and never called them back. But he continued to make visits to other schools. And then Texas A&M called him, and they said, hey, we're going to offer you this amount of money, and it was a very large dollar figure, to do an NIL deal with us and play here. So he just said, forget it, I'm going to go there and play there. So he has the money to fall back on if he wants to and not play in the NFL this year, and then re-enter into the NFL draft next year. Of course, he could always try and pull a John Elway and get a trade and get out of there a different way, but who knows? This is just an unusual situation, especially in today's NFL, where players have more authority and more control than they ever did in the past.